idea of this is to be kind of an overview of some tools that you guys might find useful as you grow and as you expand your businesses that are maybe not the things that RunSignup does. You can't actually take care of everything that you could possibly need. So we have a couple people here who have pretty large organizations and use a lot of tools. Erik and Courtney Young are from Sourfish Events, and Griessmeyer from Race Day Events, and Val is from RunSignup. She has some stuff to share too. So what we're going to do is run through, hopefully pretty quickly, a good number of different tools and types of tools that people are using to help manage their businesses, and try to leave a fair amount of time at the end if you guys want to ask some questions about what they're using or talk about some of the tools that you found to be really helpful. So quickly, just a couple of things that we actually use internally. We're obviously not race directors, at least not professionally, but there are a couple of things that we use that would be helpful for a lot of businesses. This one is not so much an outside tool as an internal tool that we built. I think Bob talked about the rebranding that we did last year, and one of the things that we had done from that is actually a document that includes all of our colors and our logos and the types of words that we use and fonts and such, which seems really basic, but I actually can't tell you the number of times I've been writing and been like, what is the way that I want to talk about this? And it's really helpful to just have something quick to go back to and look at and make sure that everything that you're doing keeps your branding consistent. And if that's all really put into one place, it's a lot easier to do. And it looks just kind of like, a simple featured thing that we put together. It's actually on our website. You can download it from unsignup.com. I believe it's /about-us press.
Yeah, if you go to our website,
definitely
you can find press on the menu items. It's down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, and then messaging. That actually is a section that I use a lot, just to make sure that I'm consistent in the way that I talk about things. Canva is graphics.
Yeah, so Canva's a free tool, canva.com. We use it a lot for just the graphics that you commonly see on our blog posts, on our monthly newsletters that go out. We also use it for a lot of the images. So Johanna designed the program and race trends in Adobe, but she uses a lot of different elements and images from Canva. They have a really big library of a ton of graphic images, of photographs. Most of them are free. You can basically get whatever you need for free, but you can also pay for additional images and photographs. It's a really simple drag and drop builder. I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with the company. They're growing a lot, so they are expanding the different types of tools and things that you can do within Canva. And we actually just upgraded to a pro license. The reason we did a pro license is that we do build some larger reports in Canva and some documents, and it's really nice for Johanna and I to be able to work on things simultaneously, and then also just create shared folders with designs that we use repeatedly. And again, with Canva, it's really useful to have that brand guideline because I always refer to that, and I'm bringing over the fonts, the colors, and using them repeatedly in everything I design in Canva.
So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's really easy. That I'm relatively sure that is actually a screenshot from our Canva.
Yeah, actually, just a note about this. This is a cover page banner that I used on one of my websites about reporting on RunSignup. And in Canva, you can create the size of the images. So you can say, I want to make an image that's 2,000 by 800 pixels. Download it, and then it's super easy to upload that into your cover page or your race website. So even if you have photos from your race that you want to use, you can upload them into Canva, into the specific size requirements for that RunSignup image, and then download it, and it'll be perfectly formatted.
Adobe, this is what she was talking about. It's a little bit of a harder program to learn. The learning curve is a lot steeper than Canva, and I would not say I've mastered all of it, but it's also a little bit more powerful in terms of building graphics. Illustrator is going to be more your actual artwork type builder. Photoshop is generally photos, and InDesign is more of a publishing. It's more similar to what Canva is in terms of bringing in images and text from other places and creating documents. It just has a little bit more capability. It does not then have built-in icons and things that you can download, so there's some pros and cons to it. The other one that we use internally is Slack.
Slack's awesome as well. So Slack also has a free version. We were using that for quite a while at RunSignup. It's really effective. You can create different channels within Slack. So for RunSignup, we have a general channel We have an AM only channel where account managers will say, this is a problem that I've got from a customer, and we kind of crowdsource responses. There's an SOS channel for when one of you guys call in a panic. SOS channel could be renamed, like, Get Help from Matt Sinclair, to be honest, in our company. But we also upgraded our Slack to a paid version. With the paid version, you get access to some more things. So some of the things that we do in Slack is we're able to keep all of our messages there, and that lets us easily search for past answers to difficult questions that we've crowdsourced in it. We also have several integrations in Slack, so we're able to integrate with our WordPress blog. Anytime one of us writes a blog, it automatically appears as a post in general, so our whole team is notified about that. We also use the external partner channels. So with the ChronoTrack RunSignup partnership, you're actually able to have Company A and Company B have a dedicated Slack channel. So ChronoTrack isn't necessarily part of all of RunSignup's internal channels, but it allows the RunSignup and ChronoTrack teams to really effectively communicate, share information, share files, and yeah, Slack is really great and important for our company.
And if you have people who are working in different places, it can be a good way to keep people in touch without, being in the same place. Last one on us is Zapier. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because it can do a lot of different things and it really depends on what you're looking for. But basically what it is a tool that you can use that can connect a lot of different apps. There are some limitations in terms of what types of triggers and actions you can set off of it based on what types of information they get from companies. But if you're trying to find ways to connect, your project management system to your email and such, it can help with timings and connections there. So it's worth at least looking at if you're trying to do some things and you haven't figured out a tool to do it. So to move from there, the first thing that we're going to go to is a project management tool. These are can be pretty widespread in terms of how they work, but essentially it is a project, which is often a race. And you need to find one hub to keep all of your information, your emails, your files, your spreadsheets, and you may want to use that yourself, or a lot of times you're trying to use that between a team. So the first person that's going to go up, Erik, has been using Basecamp. So if you want to tell us kind of why you decide, what made you decide you need to move to a project management system?
Yeah, so we started using Basecamp shortly after we began Sourfish events. So basically Basecamp allows us to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. Some of the other features, I'm sure they're probably all listed up there, but it's a really user-friendly platform. And beyond that, it's really easy for everyone to collaborate on projects, and we can all kind of see how our project is progressing along.
What are any strengths specifically that you found? Is there a reason you picked Basecamp over other tools?
Yeah, we looked at a couple, and again, this is going back probably 5 or 6 years, but we looked at a couple and really we tested this out. They had a free trial at the time, and it just was so easy for us to pick up on and teach others, so that kind of sealed the deal for us.
And what was the implementation like? How long did that take you guys to learn it and get used to it?
It was very quick. Basically, we built out our first project in Basecamp, and we started with one race we were planning, and it was kind of nice because it was at the beginning of the planning process for that race. So we kind of said, all right, let's put everything that we have to do to get us to race day and just kind of figure out how this will work with Basecamp. And, obviously we had some bumps along the road as far as learning, but after that we refined it and haven't looked back.
How many people do you have who use it, generally speaking?
During our busy season, we have about 12 to 15 people, depending on what season it is.
All right. Just a couple of other, I'll send all this out so you guys have a list of these, but a couple of other prominent project management tools, which may give you a better idea if you're familiar with some of them, exactly what it is that we're talking about. Scheduling software. This one is for Ryan. So this is exactly what it sounds like. It is software for scheduling. You have teams that go out to different races at different times, or you have a lot of different people who are working part-time. It's often going to be a problem. So when did you decide you needed a real scheduling software?
Pretty much when we took it out of Excel and it became a little bit too complicated to do it in Excel, it became a communication tool as well. So we use SumItUp as a scheduling software. What that does for us is it just recently became something absolutely amazing. It does a survey-based scheduling. So we'll put all of our events, take June, we'll have 35, 40 events. We'll put all of our events in each shift into SumItUp. We'll publish that for people to say, yes, I can work that. No, I can't work that. With our team, we have 15 full-time employees and about 75 part-time employees. These part-time employees come in and do weekend work. So it's very hard to communicate that all to everybody. So what it provide me then is a list of people that can fill each shift. I just slide them over into the jobs they're going to work, and it pushes it out. It also is very complex and can send out text messages saying you're working. You can check. It can email you and saying you're working. So it took a lot of the work out of transferring from a Doodle survey into Excel and then posting it to our scheduling software.
Does it track employees, like whether or not they actually work, or does it just do the scheduling on the front end?
It just does the scheduling at that point, and then we have a different paychecks is what we use for our time software.
How long did it take for you to figure it out and then actually teach it to your employees?
The initial round of it was actually fairly easy. What we are going through right now with them, they've just released in July the survey-based scheduling, so we're working through it. Obviously, it has some hiccups like any software. We're working with the guys, and they're great. Very much like RunSignup, they're able to kind of custom build for us. So we're going to just this week, as soon as I get time to sit behind it, we'll be doing our first full survey-based right into scheduling. And what's really cool about it is if you rank your employees, you can actually automate that staffing for you. It'll put the people in the right spots just by ranking your employees. You're telling me you're a timer, or you can work site or course or all that type of stuff.
Thanks. Other options there. And then inventory tracking, this is going to stay with Ryan because Ryan has a lot of tools that he uses, which is kind of why he's up here. So if you have any equipment that, you manage different sites and you need your equipment to go to your own sites, or if you're renting out equipment at any point, you need to know where it is. What's the main way that you use it?
We're currently using Rental Essentials. Those of you that have been coming to the RunSignup Symposium, you saw me speak one other time on equipment and getting the equipment across the nation. I think one of the biggest points I pushed at that was we continually oversold our equipment. Meaning if we have 2,000 feet of fence going out, we oversell how much fence we have in inventory. That became a problem. We're always rushing to try and find that backfill. We started using a program called Rental Essentials. What that does for us is for each project we have, we're able to put each piece of equipment we want for that event, and it'll instantly tell us, it's a live document, it'll instantly tell us if we are overselling and how much we have left in inventory for that given date. It's very helpful for when we start bidding on a project to see, hey, does it make sense to bid on this? Do we have that equipment reserved already? Or do we have to find it somewhere else to continually make sure it's in stock?
How many people in your company actually access the software versus is it maintained sort of centrally, or do your individual employees put in their own needs?
We have 6 project managers that will put the needs in per project, and then we have a warehouse manager and a warehouse assistant manager that will be verifying and making sure that works. They will instantly get a flag if a project manager puts something in on a project that we have, and it says, hey, you just oversold 200 cones, then they know to work. Our system is that we try and get that done 8 weeks in advance so that they have some time to try and backfill. Or
track down new cones.
Track down more cones or buy more cones or whatever we need to do.
The next one is going to be, I think, pretty familiar. Email marketing. We have an email marketing tool and we recommend it. There's certain things that we can do in terms of data that is different. But with a lot of large organizations, we know that people are still using external email systems. With those, a lot of times you have, you're keeping track of a lot of large lists. You also have access to a lot of templates and design tools that are a little bit more advanced than what we can do. And they're going to have a scheduling and automation options. I think most of the major email marketing program tools out there at this point also offer other types of services like website building and stuff, but their main focus, the reason you're going to know their name is for the email marketing. So 2 that we can cover here, and one more for now with Ryan for constant contact.
I thought Erik was doing the email marketing. We use Constant Contact for our emails. We just recently looked at using MailChimp instead, but because of the Running USA connection for Constant Contact, we had a much better price for it. So Constant Contact is a tool we use to communicate directly with our participants. We have a rather large list. We also use it with the number of events we work for other people, we use it to promote their events as well. I do not do the marketing of that. We have an amazing marketing team that handles that, but it seems to be a great tool that we try not to overuse it, but to communicate with our participants, sending out emails. It creates that great format, top down, much like you said earlier with RunSignup, we have kind of the same feel for all the emails that go out, and that's a template that looks really good and makes us proud.
Do you know how your data's, like how your lists are segmented now? Do you have different lists for marketing versus participants?
We do, and it's been kind of a time-tested process that I know we are not finished with yet. We have one per each event, and then we have a master list, and we also try and break it down by triathlon-based or running-based and send out different emails targeted at each different type of event.
How long have you been on Constant Contact?
Guessing, but probably since about 2009.
Long time user, pretty entrenched now. Now you can go to Erik. Erik uses MailChimp, so why do you use MailChimp?
So we've been using MailChimp for a while, and really it's one of those very easy to use, intuitive tools. You can build really good looking email campaigns using their drag and drop feature, and everything as far as like the email creation goes, once you kind of have that template, you have your, all your different colors, your fonts, all that imported, it becomes really easy to replicate emails, edit them, and send them out.
How do you manage your lists in terms of unsubscribes and stuff?
Yeah, so that's again, I kind of echo what Ryan says. It's an ongoing project that never ends, but MailChimp has a lot of good features as far as segmenting and tagging different lists. So we do a lot of back and forth work between RunSignup and MailChimp. So a lot of times I'll be importing lists from RunSignup of past participants, incomplete participants or registrations, things like that. And then within MailChimp, as long as you can they have a really good way of being able to tag things. If you come up with descriptive tags, it's not hard to find who you're looking for.
Social media tools. These are tools to manage essentially all of your social media. So it's any sort of hub that you can go into that you can post to different types of social media from one central place. You can put up a post that goes to Instagram and one that goes to Facebook and keep some data and your posting tools within one general area. There's a lot of different ways that they work, but that's kind of the main goal is to give you a more central place to do a lot of your social media.
This one is the one I was very nervous to talk about. I actually said I was going to call Anna up here because she's the one that uses it. So thank you, Anna. I'll speak for us. I am not the master of this by any means, but I have seen how important it is. This is probably one of the most important tools we put in place in the past 2 years. What it is it's a tool that takes all of our social media conversations from the 30-some Facebook pages we have. I believe it covers Twitter, Anna can verify that for me, but also Instagram. So it's taking all of our social and putting it in one spot and kind of providing a list of what needs to be attended to, and you can assign those items that need to be attended, and it responds all the way through there. So it's marking the responses. I just found out yesterday it actually does an autoresponder for us when somebody messages us through Facebook. It auto-responds and says, hey, we might be busy, we'll get back to you in the next 24 hours, and then that can go over to a team that's going to handle those questions. So it's really kind of collecting everything into one spot, improving that efficiency, and letting us answer everything directly and keeping track of it as well.
Do you use the same posts on each of the different services, or do you set up things separately for each
So yeah, when I told you should be up here.
It's separately, you can do it individually.
If we come back to questions, we'll ask Anna.
Thanks, Anna.
Customer support software. So that's kind of a generalized term that can be pretty broad. It's essentially a service that is going to allow you to collect your email inboxes and other types of communications, again, into a more centralized management tool that isn't just working out of Gmail. It can work well if you have a large team or if you have a large number of emails coming in. They may also include a chat option for your website. That's not necessarily something that you'll always use, but that can be a part of the services. We have two that we can talk about here. Courtney first can do Help Scout.
So we started using Help Scout a few years ago after messing around with some other platforms that we just didn't like as much. But initially, I guess when we first started, we had every customer service item coming into a Gmail inbox, and that just got really messy. So during our event season, we see upward of 300 emails a day. So we needed something to implement that was going to keep everything really organized. And that's kind of where Help Scout came in. Help Scout also, as Johanna mentioned, has a chat feature. So when we're in the office, we're able to turn the chat feature on. And then if someone has a question, they can just chat with us directly right then and there. And when we leave for the day, we can turn it off so no one's waiting.
So you said you played around with some other tools. What were the defining things that made you pick Help Scout?
Help Scout was easier. Just like to
go straight into it. We tried Zendesk at first, and we weren't a fan. There was, I guess, Help Scout was just like more streamlined and straightforward.
The other one that we can talk about is Freshdesk, which is what we use at RunSignup, or more specifically, our customer support team uses it at RunSignup. So Val can kind of give an overview of how that process works when an email comes in, how you guys handle various emails.
Yeah, so we use Freshdesk, and it's very helpful in the fact that we're able to have all of the customer and agent responses in one area. We're able to tag different agents and make sure that we're getting the quickest, fastest, most correct response for you guys without having to forward emails or wait for those replies through Gmail. So it makes it very quick, and all of those answers are right there, which you can also search. You can search by customer name, you can search by issue. So if you come across the issue again, you can go back and easily search. They also offer our Fresh Chat, so we're able to set an automated response when we're away from the chat section, or we're able to go ahead and answer those right away when they start coming in. So Freshdesk makes it just very easy and organized for all of our agents to be able to see how the ticket was handled and how quickly it was handled, and if we're able to, get the correct response for you guys. You're able to upload or have your responses, like canned responses, so we're able to have all of our help documents already preloaded in there, so we can just simply, with a push of a button, give you the correct document to answer those questions that you have without having to search for them or type them all out. So a lot of those answers are already preloaded in there, and it's just a push of a button saying this is how you get to this area that you're looking for.
And it manages, if you go to our support system, if you go to RunSignup and go to help, that's all knowledge that has been put in there that's actually run through Freshdesk. So that helps keep kind of all of our information in one place. And if you have a really advanced organization, stuff like this can actually automate a chatbot so that it can find information in your knowledge base and answer directly for you. That is beyond us, so I imagine it is beyond most of the organizations in this room, but tools that can do things like that. The last section to cover is really just the idea of when do you say whatever it is that I'm doing or that I need done is beyond the scope of my organization. It's either something that is more work than we can do reasonably, but not quite worth hiring a full-time person to do it, or it's something that I just need a really, really expert person, and I'm not going to find someone to come in and pay them as an employee to do this. So when do you kind of look for outside consultants? And I'm going to kind of mix these together. There's two that Ryan uses. We can just do them kind of back to back so that you can kind of talk about why you decided to reach out and actually find consultants on these. First one is Amplify Marketing.
Both of them actually kind of fell into our lap. So Amplify Marketing is something that came through our business coach. So the two things I'll be talking about is Amplify, which is an outsourced marketing, as well as business coaching. Amplify came to us from our business coaches just to kind of meet and greet with another company, and they sold us on what they could do. Interesting thing is we had an amazing marketing person that did all of our social media. She did such a great job that she was coached by Amplify. It was really just a marketing consultant and teaching you what to do. I do outsource the marketing as well. They ended up stealing our Erin from us. So because she did such a good job, they took her from us. We're continuing to work with them, and Erin is still kind of acting as our marketing director, but now through Amplify. And again, it was actually a lucky thing for us. We still have Erin. She knows our business very well, but she's escalating up that social marketing atmosphere and really continuing to help us. But what it does for us is as we built the business, none of us are true marketing professionals. Even Erin wasn't. She grew her way into it from volunteer coordinator all the way up to our marketing director. And it just gives us those extra resources. Somebody that's an absolute expert in the marketing field that is meeting with Facebook and just knows the ins and the outs. And it's something that lets us then focus on our operations. So having somebody in your back pocket to run stuff past, to show you that the analytics are working, and to really drive home what marketing should be was a huge, giant step for us.
So they for you are more marketing coaches. They don't actually put together all of your marketing campaigns so much as teach you the tools and help you understand how it's going. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's how they came to us. I think that might change a little bit now with the addition of Erin to their team, who was our marketing director. We're really kind of outsourcing a marketing director at this point, and we hired on a marketing coordinator to do the execution of the work. So I think that atmosphere is changing just a little bit. But the original reason we did hire them was literally for just consulting. They looked at our entire campaign. They ran the numbers through Facebook, gave us the results, and it was just great to see the results showing that something's actually working, and then giving us that data. I'm a huge numbers person, a data person. To see what those numbers were doing, and to hear somebody that is truly professional and has written books on this stuff say that, you know, you're doing it absolutely right. We haven't seen numbers that high very often for the ROI was good to see.
Do they know any of your RunSignup tools? Can they help with any of that data?
They actually have done a lot with it thanks to Erik. So they pushed a lot of the RunSignup combined with Facebook and have really driven that home. And you can see just from when they started working with RunSignup into Facebook, you could see the increase on the ROI, or I forget the Facebook term for it again, but just to be able to see we're doing a lot better with it because of the combination of RunSignup and Amplify.
And so you started that from the perspective of you met them through a business coach. What was the impetus to get a business coach?
He stumbled upon us, I guess, at lunch. We went to a business luncheon in Fitchburg where our company's based, and I happened to sit next to this guy that really took a liking to me and asked me to come to lunch with him yet again, talk about business coaching, and he shot me over a price of very, very high price for business coaching. I said, there's no way we can do that. So that's more than hiring a full-time employee at the time. And the nice gentleman said, well, why don't you and I just do lunch once a month, keep me filled in, see where we're at. And every time I went to lunch with him, I felt that I was getting more value out of that lunch than what we were supposed to pay him for an entire month of coaching. So after about 6 months of doing lunches with him, I bit the bullet and hired him on. That was 3 years ago. And our business has snowballed and taken off. He has done a great job. He's not a consultant by any means. And it's kind of the strangest thing. Many of you guys are athletes. You hire a coach to do triathlon. He's really just an accountability expert. So he grills us with questions on top of questions. And all of a sudden you start thinking, you actually think you could have come up with that yourself after he starts grilling with questions and sending you in the right direction. But it has been an invaluable experience for us that has really snowballed the business. And you know, every year it takes us a little bit further. You
continued with that beyond, like, you are still doing that?
Yeah, it's a really good system that Action Coach and Ian who our business coach is. We do quarterly meetings, we do one big annual meeting, and then he drives us to you know, really perfect our meetings and meet internally. I meet with him once a week, and then he picks certain employees from our company to meet. You know, something happens every week, and then there's a quarterly annual meeting, which continue to go on. I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
And you think that's worth your investment?
It's proven very valuable to us. We are in a spot that I would have never guessed race day events could be in. We just finished our brand new building that I blame on Ian because he got us to that point.
So that's the last of the tools. Anyone has some questions for these guys about any of the things that they use to start with? Yes?
If you had, or this is for anybody, if you have one tool that you have to keep that you feel is like the most important, which one would that be?
RunSignup.
That's a given.
This is about non-RunSignup.
I'd say Basecamp. I think that's really kept us organized, and you probably agree, or do you have a different one?
Yeah, beyond RunSignup, obviously, I would say Basecamp, and I heard you say Slack. We use Slack as well, and that's tremendously helpful just for internal communications.
I think for me, it would definitely be the business coaching. It's a constant challenge, sometimes an uncomfortable challenge, but it's also what propels us forward to get to where we need to be. So,
you guys talk a little bit just about how your organizations grew and like the tipping point when you decided you needed these tools. Was it the number of employees that you had, the number of events that you had? What was kind of the moment where you decided I need a tool to help me with this problem?
For me, it's probably as embarrassing as it's all mistakes. So as we're growing, we started just me as a business, and it continued to build and build and build. So we would hire somebody, try and drop down, hire somebody to get some tasks taken off of me. But almost every tool we use is built from a mistake, like I mentioned earlier with the rental essentials, because we were constantly overselling things, and we need to get that. With the business coaching, we've actually gotten a lot better at kind of forecasting and seeing stuff ahead. It used to scare me to be asked, what's your 3-year plan? Now we have that kind of drawn out. Most of the team gets it and buys into it. But as far as growth, it was trying to pay attention to it, see where you're at, problem solve any one of those items. A lot of it comes down to communication. How do you fix communication? We've tried a lot of other things that you don't see up there that hasn't worked. We've tried some project management software. We've changed things. I actually get yelled at quite a bit because I try to change stuff too often, I think. But we're constantly trying to stay on top of stuff and control the growth, like you're saying. So as the business grows, we just keep searching and searching and trying to find the right tools.
I think for us, for using Basecamp, that was the one where we kind of got in front of it, where we realized we're like, okay, if we want to add more races, do more events, we're going to need a way to track all of our projects, our races, and make sure that we're getting everything done. Help Scout, which is one of our favorite tools that we use for answering our runners' emails. That's one of those tools that came when we were knee deep in stuff, and we're like, they had been using Zendesk, and it wasn't easy when we were onboarding new people. It was hard for them to learn, so we found Help Scout, and that was kind of, again, it was, we had some catching up to do, but once we got it up and running, it was awesome.
Does Help Scout or any of these solutions answer questions or encompass? Because I get questions from Facebook pages and email and all different ways. But does it encompass answering them on Facebook or in that direction?
I think there's ways you can do those integrations, and I know we don't do it. We manually manage our pages, but I'm pretty sure that they have different integrations you can use to have those Facebook messages come directly to your Help Scout inbox.
FreshDesk does do that. You can do that with FreshDesk. Anyone have a tool that, or a problem that they're having that they're not sure has a tool?
Yeah, we have so many things to develop.
I'd recommend hiring some more developers. Feel free to talk to these guys and ask them more about stuff individually if you want, but you have a little bit of extra time now.